Good afternoon. Welcome to your Cooperative's Business Only Annual Meeting. Since the membership's overall response last year was favorable in having a business only annual meeting format, and with the voting already completed by the mail-in or online, we decided to continue along the same format this year and having a member engagement meal. This year's membership engagement meal and open house was held June 28th at T.I.P. Rural Electric Cooperative. A little bit of housekeeping. I'd like to bring to your attention, if we were to have a fire, there's exit doors to the left, go back out of the lobby and front entrance doors, as well as going south outside of these doors and exiting through the shop doors. TIP employees will assist in directing you. Also, in case there's a tornado, we will go down the hallway to your right and enter our shelter to the left. Again, REC employees will assist you. I will now call to order the 86th annual meeting of TIP Rural Electric Cooperative. We will now have our Secretary Treasurer, Ron Hoffman, certify that we have a quorum. Would you, Ron?
We do have a quorum. We had 820 votes, and so that makes up our quorum.
You want to stay here? At this time, we'll have a reading of the notice of the meeting by Secretary Treasurer Ron Hoffman.
This is an official notice of the annual meeting of the members of TIP Rural Electric Cooperative. The business-only annual meeting of the members of TIP Rural Electric Cooperative will be held at the Brooklyn headquarters located at 320 Industrial Drive, Brooklyn, Iowa, 52211 at 1 p.m. on August 28, 2024 to take action upon the following matters: the reports of officers, directors, and committees, election results, all of the business which may come before the meeting, and any adjournments thereof. To satisfy the legal quorum requirements for our business-only annual meeting, we are asking that members vote by mail-in ballot or electronically via Smart Hub in the election. This was dated August 1st, 2024 by Ronald Hoffman, Secretary. There's a note. The format of our annual meeting will be a business-only meeting again this year, and there will be no meal, membership gifts, prize drawing, or voting taking place at the meeting. To view the annual meeting documents, go to tiprec.com/annual meeting. There we go.
Thank you, Ron. We will now have a reading of the minutes of the annual meeting held August 23rd, 2023, unless we have a motion from the floor to waive the reading of these minutes. Do I have a motion? I have a motion, and I have a second. I have a motion made and second to waive the reading of these minutes from the 2023 annual meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Now we will have the treasurer's report from our Secretary Treasurer Ron Hoffman.
First of all, I would like to thank Terry Klockmanberg for putting this together for me. He does the figures and he does a great job. Thank you, Terry. This is our income statement as of December 31, 2023. Operating revenues, $16,688,275. Operating expenses, cost of power, $9,473,971. Interest expense, $1,287,907. Depreciation and taxes, $1,651,584. Operations and maintenance expense, $2,150,936. Office expense, $1,627,376. Miscellaneous expense, $453,951. That gave a total expenses of $16,645,725. Operating margins, $42,549. Non-operating margins, $438,478. Generation and transmission capital credits, $679,383. Other capital credits, $214,859. That gave a total operating and non-operating margins of $1,375,269. Questions?
Thanks, Ron. No questions, otherwise I need a motion to accept the treasurer's report. Do I have a motion? I have a motion in the back. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. I have a motion made and second to approve the treasurer's report. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Carried. Motion has passed. Thanks, Ron. At this time, I'd like to introduce the current members of your TIP board. I'm Gene Van Ozen. I'm the current board president, and I represent Iowa County. Annie Axmere represents Keokuk County, is our vice president. Ron Hoffman, representing Keokuk County, is our secretary treasurer. Jerry Henning is our assistant secretary treasurer representing Poweshiek County. James DeSchmidt represents Iowa County. Randy Upall represents Tama County. Craig Stallman is representing Iowa County also. Lisa Tickey represents Tama County. Lee King is our representative from Poweshiek County. We'd like to have Lee come forward, if he would please. Lee has been on our board for 30 years. He was elected in 1994. He has served 10 years as president. He's been very good asset to our company. With that, we'd like to present, Scott would like to present a plaque to Lee for his 30 years of service on the board.
Thank you, Lee. On
Thank
behalf
you,
of the member owners of TIP, Rural Electric Cooperative, thank you for your dedicated 30 years of service.
Thank you. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to introduce our cooperative attorney, Mark Adams. Mark is with the firm Wasker, Dorr, Wilmer, and McCooey, out of West Des Moines, Iowa. Mark, welcome to our annual meeting. You have the floor.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I guess it's my task to kind of explain a little bit about the election process, and then we'll call the chairman from the nominating committee up to give their report. Basically, our articles and bylaws provide for a board of directors of a range of 5 to 9, as determined by the board of directors from time to time. The board, as you know, is elected by the membership. Board members are elected for 3-year staggered terms. And with the staggering of the terms, generally 3 director positions come up for election each year, except for every 3rd year, there are 2 positions that are open for election. This year we had 1 director, as you know, who is retiring and not seeking re-election this year. And as a consequence, the board decided to downsize from what has traditionally been a 9-member board to an 8-member board of directors. And with those 8 directors, 2 directors will be representing each of 4 geographical districts where the cooperative does business. Under the cooperative's articles and bylaws, there's a nominating process for prospects for the board. The board of directors selects the nominating committee, and the bylaws require that at least 2 cooperative members from each district that have a director up for election in that particular year be selected. The committee is charged with trying to locate at least 2 qualified candidates from each district that is up for election. As was mentioned earlier, voting last year was done by mail-in ballots and/or electrical ballots, and because the participation rate seems to be better or stronger going in that direction, the board recommended and decided to follow through with that same process again this year. Election packets were sent out with a cover letter explaining the process to the members, along with a ballot and instructions for voting electronically. And all of those were mailed out to all members on July 12th of this year. This is done by a third-party vendor who handles the mailing of the ballots, and there's a deadline of August 16th for those ballots to come back. The third-party vendor then tallies the votes and then reports that to the nominating committee, who in turn will report that to this meeting today. This year's director positions are for District 1 and District 3. And on behalf of the board and the cooperative, I'd like to thank the nominating committee for their efforts this year in selecting the candidates. At this time, I would like to call the chairperson of the nominating committee, Tony Upa, probably screwed that up, is it Upa? Come up to the podium and give his report and election results. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Tony Ubaugh, the chairperson for the 2024 nominating committee. The nominating committee met on May 30th, 2024 at the office of the Cooperative here in Brooklyn. Members of the nominating committee include the following: Ronald Nace, James Tice, Don Weirman, and myself, Tony Ubaugh. Members of the committee reviewed the Cooperative's bylaws and policies regarding the nomination and election of the directors. After considerable discussion, the following names were nominated to be placed on the ballot for the 2 director positions this year. The names are: from District 1, Randy Ubaugh, ran unopposed. From District 3, James DeSchmidt, he ran unopposed. That completes my report. Thank you. And now the results from the election report. The duly appointed inspectors of the election at the annual meeting of the members of the T.I.P. Rural Electric Cooperative held this 28th day of August 2024 do hereby certify that the election of the directors was fairly and impartially conducted by a neutral third party. Vendor to distribute and to tabulate all the ballots that were received by mail or online via Smart Hub. We further certify that the following persons were duly elected to the directors to hold office for a 3-year term. District 1, Randy Upaw. District 3, James Gismet. That's it, thank you.
Thanks, Tony.
This year, as with last year, we had $5 bill credits that were applied to each member's account that voted, and also grand prizes. So this year, we're giving out 2 grand prizes, a TCL Roku 55-inch smart TV and a Blackstone 22-inch electric tabletop griddle, which will be randomly drawn after the annual meeting, and the lucky winners will be notified. And as last year, we're also giving $5 bill credits to all members who voted this year. Your next electric bill will be automatically shown the credit along with the description, annual meeting prize next to it.
Thanks, Scott. With that, Scott's report, is there any other business that needs to come before this meeting? If not, at this time, I will proclaim the 86th Annual Business-Only Meeting of T.I.P. Electric Cooperative is adjourned, and thanks for your participation.